Hello and welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Mask of the Rose. Now, Archie's been arrested. We know this. That's happened an episode or two ago. But we now have the ability to craft some kind of mystery solution. And as of the update, we can present these to Harjit, and it doesn't cost us a time slot, so that is quite good. Because he'll kind of sense check our theories and bring up problems that don't make sense, basically. However, I kind of want to go and gather more intel first without doing that. So we're going to head outside, and in the comments, someone suggested something that was kind of on my mind anyway after filming the last episode, which was to go back to a couple of people. I say people in the loosest sense, in at least one case, but to complete the census with them. One being Phoebe, the maid of David and Rachel Landau, and the other being sort of Mr. Rubbery and stuff. Well, he's maybe less important because he obviously isn't a murder suspect. Reginald. Oh, because he's the I forget what you call it. Not deacon. Was he just called a canon or something? So yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's what we'll do today. We'll do the census with Phoebe, and then we'll do it with Reginald there. I think that's probably a good plan for the day. Because doing that might open up other sort of investigation avenues, at least that's what I'm hoping. We'll change. We'll put as we're doing the census today, we'll put our ministry badge back on. Maybe we could try and appeal more on sort of like a level. Yeah, I don't know though, is that condescending? I think we'll just go with our gent's top and our friendly hat. That'll do it. It's just a census, so nothing too dramatic here. Are you here to see me then? I don't receive visitors as a rule. And if I did, they'd be meant to visit in the kitchen, I think. We'd better go for a walk if you want to talk with me. Oh wow, the cemetery. I started coming out here for walks while Mr. Landau was dead. Rachel said there was no point visiting the grave, but I liked it. Made me feel like I could talk to him. Explain that we're working on the census. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. Phoebe shows no enthusiasm for the ministry. Simply ask about her romantic connections. Are you married or otherwise connected? Oh, there's someone I care for. I had a hope something would come of it after the fall, but it seems that is not to be by the look of things now. Wipe tears from my own eyes. Silently guess. Well, let's not silently guess. Alright, let's wipe tears from her eyes. Let's try and earn her confidence. The gesture is discreet, but it does not go unnoticed. And she's happy about that. No one speaks for a moment. I wonder whether I could ask a favour. But could I come with you to visit your friend Archibald? I'd like to know what to expect before the trial. Agree and talk up my skills in the process. Remember, we are a bit of a braggart. You won't be sorry you asked. Ah, you're not half bad, are you? I brought Phoebe with me. We did go straight there. Okay. Oh no, we're going to be going from Scottish to Irish. Why would you be here then, Miss Riley? Oh, that was Irish. They say you're meant to visit prisoners. It's a good work. Now, you might be if you come to bring 'em cheer. But if you're here to squawk at me about the wrong I did the Landaus. You don't think you could have done it by accident then? Just a little mistake with the matter of the dosing? Nay, I thought it over time and again, lass. Do you think you're the first to ask me? Wait. I let them talk. I've been thinking all this was to get me out of London. Someone killed David in order to get you out of the way. They did like to get themselves the long way round, didn't they? Aye, to hide their true intentions. Ah, you're as good as a play. You should come and see my mistress. She's always needing a plot, and the stranger the better. Was that it? Horatio sets the dinner soon afterward. Oh, okay, well that counted as 2 activities then. Fair enough. I wonder if that will give us any kind of more search terms. Ah, my friend, there's a newcomer to the house. Try not to assume the worst. You look solemn, Horatio. The last time was when you told us the supply of cheese had run out. I know we've had a happy little group here, but the time had come. I've taken in a new lodger. I'm doing my best to get Archie sent home. You haven't yet, and we don't know how long it will take. No, but I don't think it's time to give up and move on. Question how the lodger found us. I'm surprised. We haven't had many asking to lodge here since the fall. Hargid brought him around. I had my doubts about that. You should also know he's a clay man, he calls it. Looks like a statue. But he's polite. Okay, we'll point out what I've heard of such characters. I mean, I don't know what my character knows. I've heard that the golems are called claymen. They're from other shores. Even if he's the most well-behaved statue you've ever met, it's a risk. It will draw attention, and I don't see the need. Everything we do reflects on Archie now. I need someone who can do for me outside the house. Oh, hadn't you noticed that I can't go outside anymore? I know you don't go out much. I suppose the last time I saw you go out was to the graveyard. I don't anymore. I do not step through our front door. But the trade is, I can promise you our new lodger won't do anything I don't know about.
Forgive my clumsy interpolation into your domestic idyll. I wish to make myself known to you. I am...
He makes a noise like rain running down limestone.
I believe the best translation is Moss. I hope to learn more about this new city. It is very different from my native Polythreme.
What is Polythreme like, Mr. Moss?
It is an island far across the sea. Everything has a voice there. My king, he of 100 hearts, reigns over us all. It is often harmonious. There is very little screaming.
Silence isn't the same as peace. But I'll take your word on it for the moment. I hope you'll find rest here.
If rest is indeed all Mr. Moss is looking for. Okay, so in Professor Flirty's playthrough, my first playthrough, I was very friendly to Moss. Well, flirtatious to Moss. Let's not beat around the bush. But we're going for a different kind of playthrough here, so we're going to be unfriendly to him. Now, present myself as strong if unfriendly. Hates love. Though I don't want to meet you, and it's plain you don't like the look of me either. It's the fool that's done it. Can't keep to our old circles these days, can we? What motivates a clay man to reside in a boarding house in the first instance? I assume you neither eat nor sleep. The accommodations would seem to be of little value to you.
Griselda!
No, it is an honest question. This seems a happy place.
He makes a sound like water flowing through the spout of a gargoyle.
Oh, I was not made for deceit. The king did not fashion these lips for lies. I sought a man in the previous city. I did not find him. I believe he was at odds with the Khans.
The who?
I have heard they call themselves masters now. They style themselves after their latest acquisition. But the man is gone, and everything has changed. I hope to find my place and my purpose once more.
Suggest our community does not extend to include him. We are a place of community, but you are not within that circle.
A period of trial is required, I understand. But when I spoke to Constable Hargett, he said that this was the most open home in this part of London. And I spent some time observing.
Observing?
Through the window, I observed a stew being prepared. In Polythreme, we are always in union. A polyphony makes a pleasant change. I was looking for someone in the last city. Yours falling came as a surprise.
There, you see, Mr. Moss requires his rest.
I have no wish to be a burden. In Polythreme, what the king wishes to occur, occurs. But there are 3 of you. I will wait for you to reach an accord. I require respite rather than shelter. It will not be an undue inconvenience if I am better to look elsewhere.
And he is meant to keep us safe, is he?
If I were a housebreaker, I'd give him a wide berth. Besides, Hargett said he considered it his obligation to help Mr. Moss find a home. That it was a good deed to place him here.
If Hargett thinks the deed makes up for arresting Archie, I have some questions about the moral accounting.
Not everyone tallies their good and bad deeds in a double-entry ledger book, Lady Griselda. Whatever the ministry may have told you. But he's right. If we're all to rub along here, you all need to be comfortable with our new lodger. You live here just as much as I do.
I think you're likely to be outvoted, Horatia. No one has a better heart than you. But we must think of Archie. We court suspicion and perhaps the Master's anger. If Archie were here, I'd say different. Refuse to allow Moss to remain. We need to look after ourselves with Archie gone.
First time I've turned anyone away. I suppose I ought to get used to it in these times. He said himself he does not need shelter.
Oh, he said himself he does not need shelter. Let's focus on getting Archie free instead.
Oh, on your consciences be it. I'll go and inform Mr. Moss.
Poor Mr. Moss. He's nice. We were friends with him in the first playthrough. Oh. Is that all we picked up today? I get to the morning newspaper after Grizz is done with it. The headlines today read, Jovial Master of Debate offers vigorous contradiction on matters of theology, philosophy, botany, biology, economy, theosophy, and natural law. Any stance gladly adopted. Services reasonably priced. Engage now to argue against your fears of coming apocalypse. Okay. I think we're going to head straight out. I'm going to keep an eye on Ferret's shop, because we do get the chance to ask him about poison at some point. What can we do here now? Nothing with Phoebe, interestingly. We'll do that later. I want to go and do the cannon and maybe the rubbery creatures as well. I could do it with Grizz, but I think that's probably unnecessary. Alright, let's go and see Reginald first. I think that's probably fine. We still look fairly officious.
You escaped the Devil's Lair, then? Soul intact, I hope?
Make clear my soul is still my own. It remains in my care.
Nah, as well as mine. Well, London can stomach 2 stalwart champions. Ha! I mean that I'm happy to hear it. As I mentioned back there, I'm Reginald Birtwistle, Canon of Southwark, second into the parish. In order, I assume, to begin making improvements.
Oh, look at their little Christmas tree. I've just seen that. That's so sad. Something over there as well in the font. That wasn't there before, I don't think. I think, is it looking a little more patched up back there? Express surprise that he is a man of the cloth, especially the way I'm voicing him. I didn't expect to find a man like you in a dog collar.
Suppose we've had slim pickings since the fall. But you'll find I'm cut from a different cloth. Not quite up to the standards of my dear friend Michael Flannery. But more than enough for St Albans. I'm afraid the church is a bit pokey. I'm used to Southwark. Dean, deacons, canons, kneeling Ramonia evensong. Yeah, but I expect you're not here to talk about that.
Encourage him to speak of the cathedral. Do you find it very different here from Southwark?
I've yet to form much of an impression. Compares poorly to Southwark with its grandeur and men of learning. But I should not look for those like my friend Michael here. Some persons are singular, the comparison is unfair. Southwark Cathedral is a grand old building I was lucky to be taken on. I'm not from a good family, shall we say. Got into fights at seminary, not one for sneering behind backs. If you've something to say, you can say it to me in the yard.
I'm starting to think I'm actually voicing him quite well for his character. He's quite scrappy. Play up my own fierceness. I've taken my share of punches and given out a few too.
Yeah, you don't look like you'd shrink from a fight.
Explain that I'm working for the Ministry on the Census. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census.
I see.
We have to threaten. If we get the choice to threaten someone, we're going to take it. Now here's a question for you. You'll be sorry if you don't answer. Do you live alone?
I've a mind to invite you outside to settle this there, and see after that whether you still think you can tell me what to do. But I've been a bit too free with that way of resolving a matter. I grew up in a tenement, if you must know. I was the youngest of 7, the only boy. That lived, that is. The church provided my mother's comfort and solace. She was overjoyed when I said I wanted to be a priest. Now I have bed, board, and a cadre of brothers. And sisters now, too, are here. Not that I wished for more. Before, it was the seminary. Bit crowded, lots of posh lads. But I was one of only 3 offered Southwark at the end of it.
Threaten him for an answer again. I need you to tell me something. You'd be wise to answer. Are you married? Or otherwise connected?
I'm afraid you'll have to get in line. I have a queue of flower arrangers seeking spiritual advice every evensong.
Use my authority to bully Reginald. He's going to smack us. This badge means that I speak with the authority of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. Reginald hesitates between 2 disagreeable prospects.
I obeyed you once, and now I see how it will always be. Suppose I will marry in time. A priest without a wife is at the mercy of his parish. My friend Michael, now, he is to beat the ladies off with a stick. Metaphorically, of course. Yeah. Too handsome for his own good. I'm glad he isn't married, though. Shame for a man to be tied down too early. There's pubs we not visited in the city still. Adventures not yet had. Nah.
What was your question again? Love is misfortune. Yes. Oh, that serves you well, I'll say that.
You posh crocodile. Anyway, seems a funny time for courting. Michael had a foolish notion about joining a regiment in the early days, but of course that went down the drain when everything went to hell in a handcart.
What happened?
The army? My calling remained the church. Can't go running off to the army. Living in fear is no life. It was an idle notion. If we'd had more troops when London fell, or they'd held up worth a damn, I'd have put more stock in the notion. Alas, they didn't, and neither of us said anything more about it.
Reginald considers whether there is anything to add.
You must have other places to be. I suggest you go and contemplate your sins. I shall not be disheartened if that takes you some time.
We pissed him off. All right, let's go and see Mr. Rubbery. Oh no, that's the ungulate. Where is it? Oh, he's down here. Take the census with the rubbery creatures. That's probably fine.
Ah, you decided to come back. We took a bet. I said he'd frightened you away, but Tachikana disagreed.
I explained my task as well as I can. Let's be nice to him. Do you live alone? He makes a series of lonely hoots. We are together here, alone, the first of his kind in London, and I the last of mine. We make do, as you are fond of saying here. Simply ask about the tentacle creature's romantic connections. Are you married? He makes a series of diffident honks, some seem to indicate barkchin. He lacks the requisite vocabulary. I believe the rubbery men consider themselves a choir or a chorus. The word commingling is used. I hope you do not wish for me to contemplate this subject further. Move along swiftly. What is the state of your own heart? Do you have a spouse or lover? Write down that there are no alliances worth recording. It will be true enough. Batachikan hoots appreciatively and produces a piece of slate. Another tentacle holds a piece of chalk. Barkjim reluctantly takes the chalk and slate while Batachikan gestures. The slate reads, Greeblings. A pause. Scribbling. What voice are we actually going to give him when he's talking his writing?
Many greeblings.
There is further scribbling.
Conveyance of merry greeblings today. Requested friend, partner, enemy, Bakchin essence gather. Commerce, barter, merchant, dreams, trade, coin want.
Insisted. He means the market.
Requested. Perpetrate commingling.
His face. There is further frantic scribblings.
Admixture essences require proceed commercially become.
The chalk snaps. Oh, for the sake of heaven, I told you this would happen. And it took me days to scrimp enough to up enough to let the wretched woman consider letting me have it. Batachikan makes plaintive, plangent honking noises with increased intensity. No, I cannot go and fetch another. If you would have allowed me to translate for myself... We have functioned admirably these last centuries. Why you wish to change the arrangement is beyond me. We could buy them more chalk. Well, we haven't got much else to buy. I could fetch more chalk. Batachikan makes a hopeful honk.
Oh?
Out of the question, I will not go back to that woman cap in hand. The chalk always snaps, and Batachikan has yet to grasp the fundamentals of your grammar and your etiquette. Better he receive further instruction from me before we make a second attempt. We sense the city out there is not yet ready for our emergence. Batachikan is keen, too keen. His tentacles are like roots making for the surface. I have advocated caution. But you were the first personage to encounter us. What do you think? Am I incorrect? Suggest others of an uncanny nature are already in London. Devils walk the streets of London. I myself have met a clayman. He was more polite. I am familiar with both. The devils, well, let us say their neutrality in political matters is not to be believed. The claymen are admirable labourers. I discussed philosophy with one as the scriptoria were rebuilt. He called himself unfinished. He seemed finished to me. Perhaps it is a state of perpetual enlightenment. But both groups, you will concur, are more human than our friend Batachikan. The problem is that he has a request. He has a purpose, to go ahead, to prepare the path for the others. They wait below. I owe them a debt for my own safeguarding when I left the fourth to its ruin. Ask what the others are. And who are these others, friends of yours? They are like and unlike him. Our Batachikan is singular, but he represents many waiting in the amber warrens below. They have not always been treated kindly. I myself was unkind. When they emerge, they hope Batachikan's work will have gone forward. Batachikan makes a series of frantic burbles. Oh, for goodness sake. He has something for you, a piece of amber from the vats. I would undertake this task myself, but Batachikan fears I will upset someone. A baseless accusation, but since my impeccable service is in question, we would like to ask you. Batachikan makes a strangled keening noise. A stallholder. Oh, he wants you to give the amber to someone who owns a place of commerce. Ask what it is. Thing is, I don't know what that is. But Tachikar makes a series of sibilant, high-pitched squeaks. It is, we would say spirit, but it is not that. It is resinous, that is attuned to the essence of those it comes into contact with it. Like leaving a fingerprint in warm clay. It is how I was found when the city fell. He remembered me. Except I take the amber in my hand, oddly warm to the touch and clammy. It is important that the amber be delivered to one of a mercantile orientation. I hope you do not mean that dreadful costermonger at the market. I refuse to translate your speech for her. I do not know nearly enough insults in this tongue. But Tachikar makes a series of indignant honks. Oh, very well. Someone vaguely successful. Don't ask me why. I don't understand it myself. They need to hold the amber, then bring it back here. But Tachikar makes a series of frenetic warbling noises. Ah, yes. He wishes you to have one for yourself as well. Amber brooch, a token of rubbery kind, and an expression of commitment to the neath. Surface? What surface? Now, if you'll find your own way out. I picked up an amusing novel at the market. It is about a very enterprising young lady named Audley. She is full of moral fibre. I am keen to return to it. That was a nice little meeting. At this point, I go back to Horatia's. Let's change clothes. We're going to change into our new... I want to say corsage. It's not a corsage. Amber brooch. My garb invites the onlooker to wonder what fashionable folk have to do with neath monsters. What about if I put on my common hat and my prisoner jacket? Is that all? What about sailors? Huh? The cloak says there's wealth and breeding in my recent past. The cap is out of place. One might be led to doubt whether the elegant cloak was stolen by someone much poorer. As for the brooch, the tentacles are only visible when one comes close. The brooch and apron say I'm a tailor of unusual inspiration. Alright, let's go with that. Horatia murmurs over her plate. A blessing, I think, for the food. And for Archie too. I've been getting new supplies. New supplies, yes. A humid, fleshy odour rises from the basement, if I stop in the stairwell. A scent like hot bacon and the sweetness of ripe fruit. I am forbidden to visit. We are all, always, forbidden to visit. Chew, swallow, I'm sure it's fine. Every day's meal is finer, richer, more exotic. It isn't just the meat. There are spices I've never tasted before. Clean the dishes. When the meal is over, I give Horatia a hand, clearing up. Oh, good of you, friend. I head upwards to my room to sleep when the sound of voices draws me back to the parlour. Oh. How many centuries? Looking well for it, I must say. I slept through a significant amount of it. And I'm told resin is an excellent preservative. Well, not every day I meet someone from Mongolia, let alone also being over 100 years old. Not that I meet many people these days, but I'm glad you're not involved in the business in the basement. Cellars are best for wine and erag, and not connected by doors. I shall bear this in mind. I'll leave you two to it. So this is where you live. The decor is noisy. I feel an ache of the head coming on. But preferable to noisome caverns dripping with amber. Ask how she found me. How did you know where to find me? Oh, that was Simplicity herself. I followed you. I was a tracker in the Waste of Spires in the previous city, the Stalagnite Forest to the north. I wished to talk to you alone. This seemed the most reasonable means of achieving that. It is Batachikan's request regarding the amber. It is important that the amber is returned, so we may gather the essences. But Tachikhan is fixated upon the commercial enterprises in the city. I do not mind indulging his whims, but the goal is to effect peaceful rubbery introduction to Londinium. Nothing more. Ask where she's hiding. You came all this way to tell me what the task is again. My point is a simple one, and one I thought obvious. I am his interpreter, not you. I have lost everything and remained at his side. I wandered in the dark. I learned the arts of shaping, the variations of amber, the nature of his kin. I and I alone have communed with the things in the dark below the vats. Ah, I have rambled enough. Suggests she must care for him. He must mean a great deal to you. It is an attachment born of circumstance. He is frustrating, willful, blind to his flaws, impetuous. Do not say another word. I can hear you thinking. Let us say, familiarity does not always breed complete contempt. I apologize if I am abrupt with you, but I barely know you, and our acquaintance has not made me desire to know you better. Thus far. Perhaps if you show us you can be trusted with this matter of the amber, then we may have more faith in each other, and I shall feel less of a need to protect my... well, I shall intrude no further. Good day. Let's go to sleep. Okay, we've still got 12 days left. As usual, I resort to the morning papers. The headlines today read, Townhouse Fire. Wild-haired and introspective students rescued. Outbreak blamed on unauthorized hexagonal map. Masters warn against unlicensed cartography. Let's have a little look at the story builder now. Let's see what we might be able to come up with. Let's go with unknown methods. Culprit. I wonder if we put just someone in for now. Let's start with these unknowns. Motive. Actually, let's go with Archie. We're gonna go the theory that someone else kind of slipped him the wrong stuff. Wanted to save patience. Action. Treated David Landau. Motive. And then... I don't think any of those fit. What about this one? If we go unknown for this one... unknown purpose, action... action... See if that was unknown for now. What about this one? I don't really get that, but we'll leave it there for now. Archie wanted to save as many patients as possible. Someone had unspecified desires. Archie undertook to treat David. Someone had plans to return to the surface. Archie grew jealous of David's family. Doesn't work, that. And felt it was very unfair that his was nearby when his own was not. Someone thought they wanted David dead until it was far too late. Then a nameless individual realised their true feelings. I don't think this works. I don't know why I can't put an unknown there. Let's just leave that for now. So remember, for free we can go and talk to Harjit about that. Let's just see what he says about it. we're not going to rush to trial, that's for sure. Comrade, it's good to see you. The amber brooch suggests I'm here on someone's business, even if it doesn't say whose. Let's present our theory, see what he says. I believe I know what happened and why. When I start to explain, however, Harjit stops me. You have put in a mystery accomplice, but you don't say who it was. I couldn't persuade the court to take on this prosecution. I was going to attend something else. Another errand? Another 2, surely. Still morning. Alright, head outside. Yeah, I thought I might go and... ooh. Now, I wasn't able to do this before. It appeared and then it disappeared just as quickly. But so I will do that. I just want to see what other... Yeah, that's a good one too. Oof. That's a good one. We didn't have that one before either. Ooh, that ivy was very helpful before, actually. There are good things here. I like this. We're going to do the arsenic, though, first, because that one disappeared. Yeah, why not?
That's what I like to see. Real person of the streets wear. Yeah.
What about uses of arsenic? You said a good bit of poison here. Anyone ever want to use it for something unusual?
Only for things that want poisoning. Or other purposes now and then. One of them broadsheets put out a household hint just after the fall. Put arsenic in your candles and they'll burn lighter and brighter and longer, so it's said. That was a good week. Everyone needs candles.
Candles. Those would be Phoebe's business in the Lando household. She'd be the one to make them and the one to light them. Oh. Yes. I nod at Ferret's updated sign. Times are changing, I see.
Well, the sign was giving me a bit of a professional headache, truth be told.
Instruction and conversion. Oh, he's got little decorations.
Hard to look myself in the eye at the end of a day's work. What with being a rat catcher and there being talking vermin. Sorry, shouldn't say vermin. I'm told it ain't polite. Not that I've been talking to him, obviously.
Question that obvious falsehood. Have you, in fact, been talking to him?
Well, not by choice. I found one of them in a trap in the pantry. Well, it says pantry, cupboard above the stove. Squeaking piteously he was, enough to make a statue weep. Which they've not started doing down here yet, I hastens to add.
I raise an eyebrow, thinking of Horatia's new tenant.
Oh, Lord bless us and save us, tell me not a word of it. Well, anyway, long story short, once I'd apologised, we struck up quite the repartee. Which is a long way round of introducing you to Algie here.
A rat darts from across the counter and bounds up onto your shoulder, where it sits, whiskers twitching. We've got... oh my god! We've got Algie! Oh, I never got Algie before. Amazing.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. It's just easier to make myself heard from up here. And it is not algae, Ratcatcher. That sounds like something one finds in the common sort of pond. My name is Algernon. Anyway, a very good day to you, friend of Ferret.
Impress upon... we're going to try and impress the rat. Impress upon Algernon my superiority to Ferret. I am as different from Ferret as you are to a hamster.
Oh, I detest hamsters, the most vile of scoundrels. One sold my friend once.
People are funny about rats still, in spite of the talking. I wondered about finding a means of legitimising them. The church, perhaps? Or imagine, vergers with whiskers. Well, more whiskers, yeah. I couldn't imagine a better sign of the times being changed than rats getting in pews. Of course, we need to make it official. Get some kind of presbyteriate.
Presbyterate? I don't know what that means. I know Presbyterian is something.
No, that's not the word. What was it you said about the who's it?
Precedent.
That's it. We need one of them to make the rats nice and official.
I suggest this is likely to cause upset. Those pews are already filled.
Right, by those clutching their hymn books and praying for the Lord Almighty to make things just as they were. Well, blow that for a game of soldiers. If even the church has to change, they've no excuse no more. You've the look of saying no, but will you help us? Assist in constructing a history of rats. With your ministry connections, it should look that bit more official. And when it comes to the church, well, you might not be fond of them all any more than I am. But I still put money on you'd do better than I would talking the vicar around.
Agree and talk up my skills in the process. I'll do it, and I'll be faster and better done than you could have hoped from anyone else. I haven't won ferret over. In fact, I'm not sure they believe anything I say. I'll consider a story for how rats came to know language.
You'd come through. Make it seem innocent, eh?
But not too subservient.
Story that'd make talking rats acceptable to the church and what's it. Maybe they was left over from Noah's time or some holy fool found a way down here and told them how to squeak properly. Goodbye for now, Algie. Enjoy your time with your new pal.
I tolerate the indignity only if it means alternate companionship.
I shall miss you too.
Oh, I can't believe I'd never got to do that before. We know what ferret does for a living. Let's just be off. I make my excuses to be going.
Yeah, I should be going about my business.
My opinion remains to be seen. That was fun. Another errand day. Ooh, yeah! I think it was this. And anyone who's read Terry Pratchett's... Oh, I forget which book. Was it Feet of Clay? Or something like that. But Veterinary was poisoned. He actually poisoned himself with candles. I think that's how it resolved. But anyway, awesome. I think we've blown the lid off this thing, and we still got like 11 days left. Let's try and build it into our story. Rat hagiographies. Anyway, let's do this. Poison candle. So we're going to say it was Phoebe. Yeah, she didn't want to save patience. Let me finish. I don't know, unknown purpose. Maybe she wanted separate. Oh, I don't know. I want to put ferret in there. Where's ferret? Okay. Leave it with someone for now. Maybe that's Phoebe. Phoebe was thoughtless. To return to surface. Let's just put Archie in. Come on. Wanted to save patience. Treated David. I don't really get this one. I don't think he did. Phoebe missed family. Rare ingredients. Was jealous of family. David. Wanted health. Plan to return to surface. Don't really get this. We should go and speak to David, really. And just... died. Yeah, I don't know. I think we need to go and still speak to people about that. It's not ready for that yet, but we had another promising... I mean... could do that. Leave that there too. Ivy was useful when we spoke to her. Oh, I also want to... I wanted to give Ferret the amber. I've lost the opportunity to do that now. Don't need that right now. I think we go to the Landales, and I think we talk to David about the possibility of it being candles. See what he says. Maybe we'll smarten up a bit for David. Oh, we've got Archie on our head! Yes. We're absolutely doing that. Oh my god, look at that. This must be suitable wherever we go, I feel. We're going to go around with a little rat on our head. Alright, we look absolutely magnificent. Good wintertide, Hateslove. I trust you're keeping fed. Lay out my theory that Phoebe used candles to poison him. I suspect you died of the candles Phoebe put in your room. I think they were full of arsenic. Surely they would have killed me earlier if they were dangerous. You were sick for a long time. Archie couldn't work out why. Chronic poisoning might be slow. But there were no more candles than usual on the day I died. And if anything, I'd been feeling better for a time with Archie treating me. It's hard to imagine or understand such a possibility. If Phoebe had a reason to be vexed with you, I wonder whether your housekeeper had motive to kill you. No. That's all? No? No, it's a preposterous idea. I know, the newspapers are full of such stories. Harmless old couple poisoned in their beds by scheming ungrateful maid. Phoebe is not ungrateful, she's part of the household. The third member of the pair, if that doesn't sound too peculiar. I don't see how it would have happened, but I might be able to believe in an accident. Yeah, I think it was an accident. I think she genuinely was really upset when he died. It still seems improbable, but perhaps Phoebe could have done the thing by mistake, and then been afraid to own it afterwards. Yeah, I think that's a pretty likely explanation. Right you are, of course. Trust me, I've known these people much longer than you. For a moment, no one speaks. You're fortunate you find us when the house is quiet. We've had reporters on my resurrection from the newspapers. We've had medical men. We've had an artist who wanted to capture an eyewitness account of Death's appearance for his next painting. But above all, we've received half of Jewish London. I wonder what piece of advice we might come up with. In time, you'll find the best way to speak about your experience. You are a modern Prometheus, it seems. There's a rabbi who was very concerned that I might start some Frankist heresy, and a young man who was convinced I was sent back to life because I had some duty left unfinished the first time. Most of all, they want my death to be an explanation for their lives. So they come to me for something that I cannot give. Ask my advice about their troubles when I've never been an expert in my own. Touch my elbow as though the fabric of my coat had something holy to impart. And all I can tell them is I understand death less now than I ever did. When it was a bound on our lives, that meant something. It gave us just enough time to have our children and tell our stories. If you can return, it signifies nothing at all. Take a darkly sympathetic view of matters. It might give you some time to recover. You've been on a long journey. Oh, this does not seem to have occurred to most of them. David considers whether there is anything to add. I'm afraid I can't entertain as long as I used to. I'm not feeling well enough for this. I like David well enough. My opinion remains to be seen. Almost time to eat. Oh, we're going straight to the table with algae. Great. I think that's an important addition to our theory. Archie's absence is a coldness in the air.
How is the new feast coming along?
The Masters have been planning a celebration for the whole city to coincide with Valentine's Day. The organisation is a disgrace. The supplies are insufficient, and the distribution through the city leaves a great deal to be desired.
Excellent.
I beg your pardon?
It just sounds so invigorating for you, Miss Griselda.
Suggests that the Masters have secret intentions. I don't know what the Masters are up to. There's something underlying this. It's meant to bring lovers together. I'm very dubious of the effect. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some disagreement between the Masters at the back of it. Help clear the dishes, as we always do.
Oh, good of you, my friend.
I want to review the day quickly. So we're doing fairly well. I think we're going to have about 11 days left. I don't know how far along this social acceptance for Algernon will get, because I want to try and nail down the murder theory first. Oh, he's so cute. I can't believe I missed him the first time round. Okay, so a few things I want to do. Grizz leaves me the newspaper after she's read everything of political import. The headlines today read, "Imports from above, silks, confections and a full supply of crickets." Yum. So look at the map first. I've got to decide what I want to do today, but I'm going to come back and do a bit more theory crafting. Oh yeah, we can take the amber now. That's cool. It might be good to confront Phoebe about it as well, because it might open up a few things. Yeah, I wondered if I could go and present the theory to Archie and see what he says about arsenic poisoning, but that's not an option. Right, let's just go back. Let's have a little play with the story. So Phoebe... Where does that motive crop up? Made honest mistake. Poison David. David wanted health. Plan to return to surface? Sure. Let's see. They didn't give me a new kind of ding. So, Phoebe most of all wished for a missing family, David for his health. Phoebe bought rare and strange ingredients for supper. Wanting sunlight and fresh air, David began planning a journey back to the surface because he believed his health would improve in that environment. Then Phoebe made an honest mistake through no fault of her own. She poisoned David by burning arsenic-laced candles in his room. In fact, the candles had been burning there for some time, but in numbers too small to cause lasting harm. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe... I don't know about this one. Yeah, I'm not happy with this, but I need to get it to a point where we can talk to Harjit about it again, I think. I don't think he was thoughtless. I think he likes her. Yeah, it definitely feels like we haven't quite got a couple of these right. I just want it to sort of click round to like being a new theory. What does it say that? Let's have a look at the rat hagiographies. What can we actually craft here? Pre-fall, someone taught speech. Still wanders the neath. A rat saw eternal gratitude. Outcome. Joined congregation. Rodent domestication. A nameless individual came upon a clever rat in the depths of the neath. A nameless individual taught the lesson of speech to ratkind. A rat rendered mannerly thanks for this kind service. A rat joined their congregation and worshipped faithfully under this leadership. The unknown individual may still be alive somewhere underneath. What happens if we change that to died? Oh, no, we'll do that. Alright, we can always talk to the priest about that. So today, I kind of want to go and confront Phoebe. I think that's fine. I think having it done by mistake is fine. I mean, it's free, so let's talk to Harjit about the theory and just see what he says. Yeah, we know all this.
You're looking well. You have a rat on your head.
Present Harjit with my theory of David's murder. I believe I know what happened and why. When I start to explain, however, Harjit stops me.
There's no motive in your theory, and sometimes it might not matter, but then again it might. Especially if it's a case of mistake or carelessness. We have to make some argument on that. I couldn't persuade the court to take on this prosecution.
Alright, we'll go and attend to something else. It's not that useful, to be honest, because we knew we had a gap there. But I want to go and talk to... I mean, I don't think she has motive, so let's just confront her about it and see what she says. With a rat on our head.
You want to speak again? Just a moment.
I wait while she finishes her chores enough to take a moment with me. We're back in the graveyard, yep. I don't necessarily have to accuse. Alright, get her permission to ask more questions. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the murder? There are some things I don't understand.
I don't think they'd want me to, David and Rachel, I mean.
Is David answering your questions? Not yet. But I was hoping you would. Talk about service to Rachel. For Rachel's sake, I want the real culprits found, whoever they are. If that isn't Archie, then they might still be a danger to your whole household.
If I can answer your questions then, if David's allowing it.
Let's quiz her on whether she had a motive first. Ask a critical question in a reassuring way. Let's weasel it out of her. It won't mean anything one way or another, but it's better if I know the truth. You must have had some grudge against the Landaus, all those years working for them?
There's people that would say I had a reason. That is, he'd done things that might have minded someone to be angry, if you read about it in a broadsheet and not in life as it is, so to speak. But I love him. When he talked of going back to the surface, I begged him to stay. I didn't want him hurt or gone or at the bottom of some nasty grave. When he died, you'd not believe the nightmares. Night on night of him down there, scrubbling at his cloths, you know, the winding thing. I don't know if they buried him in a cloth. I just imagined probably they did, like in the Bible. And that's what I saw over and over. And Milton laughing.
Alright, let's talk about the candles. I lay my theory out.
I hoped it wasn't my fault. I hoped Archie or someone else did something with the medicine. Because how could it be me? I'd been lighting those candles for months and no harm done.
Point out David's been feeling ill for months. Wasn't that the cause of his illness all this while?
Oh, it couldn't be, could it? I got the arsenic idea from the household hints in the newspapers. 5 ways to make your candles last in the dark. Half London would have been poisoning itself if there was anything wrong with those candles. Maybe I put a stronger dose of arsenic in this time round. Maybe I put a few more of them in David's room. After I asked him not to go back to the surface, and all he had to say for himself was that I could stay behind. But I wasn't sure it would do anything at all. And then I thought, if I did anything, it wouldn't kill him.
Say I'll help her if she tells me the truth. If you tell me the truth, I'll help you afterward. We'll find a way to make this right. I didn't expect him to die like he did. I thought it would be quick and easy. What? Hang on, back up. Maybe I put a stronger dose of arsenic this time around. Maybe I put a few more of them in David's room. After I asked him not to go back to the surface, and all he had to say for himself was that I could stay behind, but I wasn't sure it would do anything at all. And then I thought if it did anything, it wouldn't kill him. Oh, was she trying to stop him going to the surface? If I was to tell you, I didn't expect him to die like he did, like he'd caught a catnap. I thought it would be quick and easy, like he'd caught a catnap. You've got the players in your drama wrong. It was Milton who told me to do it. He told me it would secure David and keep him from living above again. He told me the death would pass in the blink of an eye and David would be back to life and right as rain. Milton truly is a devil, you know, like they say. There is a short silence. That's not my bot dog, incidentally. I think that's in the game. Are you going to tell the court I did it? Are you going to tell David and Rachel? I don't want to hang here in the dark with no one to bless me first. Promise to find a priest to look after her. I'll find someone for you to speak to before the trial begins. No one should face that trouble unattended. Oh, thank you, thank you. I won't ask you not to tell the court what you think you know. Modest like you can't do that, and if it was my candle that killed him, then that's better. Better than Archie dying for what he didn't do. Holy crap. Huh. Milton. I knew it was Milton! Bloody knew it. Why, I oughta... Okay, this episode is going on long, but I think we have to do this next errand and then it will save. So it's going to be a little bit longer. I hope that's okay for you guys. But hey, this is grabbing me now. Let's see if how far we can get with this story. Love David. Ask David to stay below. Motive. I don't know if we've got the motive yet. Then we have Milton. I'm going to say unknown purpose for now. Told of impermanent murder. Wanted murder to succeed. Lied about everything. Phoebe fell in love with David Landau. Milton had unspecified desires. Phoebe feared David would go back to the surface, leaving her behind or otherwise ending the relationship. Milton explained that murder in the Neath need not be a permanent affair. Then Phoebe made an honest mistake through no fault of her own. She poisoned David by burning arsenic-laced candles in his room. In fact, the candles had been burning there for some time, but in numbers too small to cause lasting harm. But when Phoebe turned her mind to it, she brought in candelabras full of them. Milton wanted the murder to succeed and lied about everything. Okay, we still need to finesse this a little bit, but I think maybe we need to go confront Milton a bit. Let's do this. I'm just going to swap the amber for the devil's tuning fork. Oh, whoops, hit the wrong button.
Hello, what do I owe the pleasure?
We're going to lay out my theory.
Cunningly deduced. But it was Phoebe who made and lit the candles. It was David who provoked her, and Rachel who kept the boundary between servant and family. Why do you look to me with the blame?
Comment on the relative motives involved. You showed the most malice and had the least excuse. Everyone else acted from some powerful interest or emotion. You were simply toying with them.
I was experimenting with them. It was scientific and aimed at their betterment. Even for David, if you can believe that. and I hardly see why you offer most sympathy to the most irrational of actors. No, don't try to answer now. That's something for you to think on later. My little gift to you. Among my kind, death is additive rather than subtractive, an upwards progression. I, however, find myself lacking. My memories of the Fourth City are limited and unsatisfying. You can put your ideas before the court. It is possible they will be heard. But your judge has no power to execute me. I can be killed only if I am willing to be. Until I can discover what went wrong the last time I died, I am disinclined to revisit the experience. It might diminish me even further. Once I do know, I would be willing enough to undertake an execution. Archibald is guiltless here.
Archibald? Oh yeah, Archie. I thought he was referring to the rat for a second. That's Algernon.
Archibald is guiltless here. Phoebe, rather more entangled. But I will fall in their place if I can be sure of rising up again. And perhaps next time, in a form Virginia and her ilk would find less easy to mock.
What would you need? And how would I even begin to recover what you've lost?
I don't know. You're very resourceful, I've found. Those with more vulgar vocabularies might even venture intrepid. When devils die, they take on a fresh form. If you find someone who knows what became of my last one, I may be able to assist. The fourth perished with me. But there may be those who survived. They might remember what happened. They might even know where my corpse ended. If you find any such, do let me know. Though I suppose they might not know me as I am now. In which case, if you should encounter such an individual, ask them about Dulci.
Whoa. Well, we know someone from the Fourth City.
I'm eager to learn what I was.
More questions? Do we have more questions? Do you mind if I ask you a few more questions? There are some things I don't understand.
Yes. Clearing up human misunderstandings is one of my favorite pastimes. It is possible, of course, that you will get some answers you do not want. But that will just make the conversation more delicious.
Well, we'll talk about his guilt again, I suppose. He's already confessed. Was he alone with David? He wasn't, though. We know that. Did you see David on the last day of his life?
I visited the house. I did not attend David Landau's sickbed. Instead, I had a brief conversation with Rachel Landau and went away again. I did not put poison in Archie's medicine.
Well, we know this. Bring up marks on the corpse. That's a good point. The body we found in David's grave. When I saw it, there were strange symbols on its face. Symbols that on reflection look like this correspondence. I suddenly find myself very curious what
exactly you think I did.
So I'm not suggesting he's responsible. I'm not suggesting that. But it seems as though you might know what happened.
None of us ever know what's happened. We only see a tiny slice.
I imagine you might know more than I do.
Hates love. That goes without saying. Out of curiosity, do you think I also resurrected the real David?
Say he at least knew it would happen.
Yes, I did. Or at least I found it very likely. I tried to tell Rachel, but she wouldn't listen.
Did you exhume David's body? I mean, we know he didn't.
If you think about it, that would have been an act of kindness. His family having buried him, foolishly and unaware of his impending return. He would have been destined to an extended misery when he came to his senses. You suggest I secretly spared him this. I'm sorry, but you cannot expect me to confess to such a thing, an act of charity, from a devil. Much less towards a man who hates me for my taste in cigars. And, forgive the flurry of questions, but I really can't content myself with just one. Why do you imagine I would exercise this power over Mr. Landau?
Laugh.
This has been a delightful little foray, but let us now set aside the question.
What about David's romantic connections? Does he know anything?
Several past lovers and none in the present tense. Before you suggest anything untoward, he is not to my taste. Tempting a man like that is dry work. He longs for certainty, and devils don't trade in that commodity.
You were going to tell me about his love affairs.
There is the obvious matter of the Carringhams. Lord Carringham married David's former fiancée, Charlotte. There is the less obvious matter of Phoebe Riley, the housekeeper. Rachel has remained more or less ignorant of that little matter, but she prefers not to direct her attention towards Phoebe in any circumstance.
No one speaks for a moment.
I fancy we are fated to meet again, comrade. Your conversation intrigues me, as does that rat sitting upon your head.
I don't like Milton. I can feel the frown forming on my face. It's getting late, so I'm heading back home. Straight to the table. Me and Algernon. That's a decent one. New ships have come to the Wolfstack docks today.
Oh, which of those, Miss Griselda?
The same as they ever were.
I've forgotten how London streets go together. All the names have changed.
Help clear up. We're a good lodger.
Good of you, friend.
Straight to sleep. "10 days left, but we've made pretty good progress. I'm the first of the morning paper. The headlines today read, 'Tiffing Terror. Impish foundling fiercely defends caddy of surfer's tea.' Maybe that should be Tiffin Terror, because Tiffin's like a sort of fairly quaint meal, whereas tiffing, as far as I know, has no meaning. Right, anyway, we are going to leave it there. So thanks very much for watching this episode. We made pretty good progress here, I think. I mean, we've basically solved the mystery. All that remains now is to get kind of Milton's storyline to a point where he's happy to be judged and executed. Which we're going to do. I'm also tempted, I mean, we've got so much time remaining, we can probably progress the Batachican thing with the Amber and storekeepers, and also little Algie's desire to, I don't know, go to church. Is that what they're trying to do? I don't know. Very strange. But hopefully you enjoyed this. I thought this was great. I really enjoyed this one. But if you did as well, and as I hope you did, then please do hit the thumbs up button on the video. Leave me a comment. Let me know, because I think we've worked out what happened now. And we've basically had a confession, 2 confessions. Was it what you expected? I know one commenter was keen for me to keep engaging with Phoebe, so I suspect they either knew or had a strong suspicion that Phoebe was involved. So bravo for that. But yeah, let me know your theories or that you had or anything like that. And I hope to see you next time for more Mask of the Rose. Bye for now.